All right, we are in Glass Hill, Oregon. Windy as always. Everything was going super smooth. Come here for another night hunt on an abandoned cabin. And then this happened. And I'm gonna show you how to get out with a stick and a ratchet strap when you got nothing else. Let me start off by saying this only works on some rims, because if the rims aren't big enough and you don't got enough room, you'll start hitting your brakes down there. This old gal got some drums on her, but still goes for disc. You want to make sure you got room in there, so once you wrap this through here, it's not going to be, getting caught on anything. So we'll go ahead and stick it through. Take your handy dandy stick. You want to wrap it to itself like so. One thing you also want to keep in mind when you're doing this, get up in here please. You got not much room back here before you can start hitting your leaf springs. So I like to try to get this close to the edge as I can so we won't hit none of that. So you get that in there. Alright, so you hook it to itself on the other side now. And then you want to take your rat strap, just start cranking her. So, and you hear that get all nice and tight. A few more cranks on there. Now, Sir Jacob here, first off, this ain't healthy for your straps, so make sure you don't care about your straps. Secondly, we're going to be going nice and slow when we back up, because you don't want this to get tangled, and we're not. The whole point of this is basically a homemade paddle tire to get us out of here. So, the goal is for it to grab, and then we'll just kind of start hopping on this log nice and slow. You don't want to romp on it because you'll break. Something will break. Right, nice and slow. Yeah, nice and slow. Stop. Now nice and slow. Stop. All right. Now you might think this is a bad sign. It's actually a good sign, because now the other side's spinning. So we gotta do the same thing to the other side, but at least we know that the side that was not getting any traction is getting some traction. So we'll get a block on that side and we'll scoop ourselves right out of here. Talk about a royal pain in my rear end. Got the hog out. Took a lot longer than expected. But we did it. I mean, we don't have anything except the ratchet strap and those sticks. Persuasion and persistence. But yeah, we got out, but we're not going to go in too much farther on the truck here. It's too slushy. I call it rotten snow. Basically, you walk on top of it, then you just kind of fall about a foot randomly. So with these trucks, it just decides to sink. And chains, when they're on, they'll dig us a hole faster than anything. So we got out, but now we go on foot, start walking down there. I mean, we're there for 2 hours. And we drove forever. So, 20 miles going 10 miles is a long time. Darn it. So we're gonna keep going, and we're still making a night out of this. All right. So we're not far from our truck. It's right back there. Before we left the truck, we heard two clanks, like wood, not a wood knock, but almost kind of like as if you would drop 2x4s on each other, with a little bit of rotten in there. Yeah. And then we were walking up and we just heard it again that way. I don't know if you can see it because the camera sucks, but super foggy out. Yeah, but it's really foggy. Yeah. You don't see far. So you guys a little bit of like what we're feeling. A little nerve-wracking. I mean, at this point it's 1 in the morning. And now we're gonna walk into fog where we can't see nothing on a tight trail because we're up here trying to find an abandoned schoolhouse or cabin, whatever you want to call it. So that's why we're up here. And it's cold. It's blowing like crazy.
There's been a lot of local sightings up in this area around that schoolhouse, so just trying to get up in there and see what we can't find ourselves. Can't even see it from this distance. We're so close. Sunk like 2 foot. Oh dang. It's crazy how this thing's still standing.
Sadly.
Now, the reason that this is still standing is because it's a historical landmark, but there's been many instances of people seeing, hearing, and smelling actually really weird things up in this area, and we believe that there is a good chance that during the winter months maybe it's a Sasquatch, you know, inhabits this or the impeding area, because honestly where we are is pretty good elevation. We've seen a lot of animal tracks, and right down the ravine here is running water. Due to the really bad fog up here right now, we're standing right here. We're gonna show some actual photos of this schoolhouse. It's pretty creepy, especially with how late we're up here tonight.
Cabin, and we are going to be looking for any kind of evidence of a Bigfoot possibly staying in here. Any kind of, maybe even like any kind of bedding that we might come across. Any possibly some fur that got snagged on a nail, maybe. And the typical stuff, which is tracks, but no tracks. So that's good. But yeah, so we'll take a look at what we got going on in here. I know there's an upper story that we'll take a look at, maybe to see if Bigfoot might have stored anything up top. We looked for a good, half hour. But it's not like it's that big, so anything that we would have found, we probably would have found by now, because we kind of combed through it pretty closely, but who knows. Right now we're going to go ahead and get going on the infrared camera, start shooing out towards the tree line, which you're going to have zero chance of seeing right now. But with this, just might be able to see what we're kind of looking at out there. So we'll kind of get this turned on and we'll kind of take a look.
Is it working good?
It's about as good as you would expect, my friend. Alright, so as you can see, the infrared camera, complete bust tonight, which is a bummer because we're in such a huge open meadow that it would be a great time to use one if it wasn't so foggy right now. But we're gonna be heading out away from this little structure we got here. Alright, so even though we didn't really see much in the cabin, I figured before we get too far away from it, probably do any calls just in case there's one kind of close in the area. But yeah, we'll go ahead and give a few calls. The call I'm going to try to duplicate is the Escadia, Oregon calls. I don't see how we're going to be able to get much out of tonight. But we'll definitely have to come back to that cabin. Yeah, it's rain time probably. When it's a little rainy and maybe trying to find a place to kind of settle in. But yeah, as of right now, it's windy, horrible vision. It's like, I mean, it's almost like, what are we doing right now? All right, well, we made off the mountain in one piece, so that's a good bonus. So basically, I'm gonna be heading back to Montana here real soon, and we'll get some more footage. But as far as the trip we've had in Oregon, it's been great. Not only did we hear some crunches and some footsteps, we saw a possible marking of a twig snap. Go ahead and pull forward. Saw a marking of a twig snap, and we also saw those tracks, which is really freaking awesome. And then tonight we're able to go up by that cabin, have fun with that. Look for any evidence up there. We will be back in this area soon, but until the next time, we'll just keep looking.